That's what this anger is all about. So initially it starts with contemplation, mode of passion. And from passion, it goes to lust, high degree of passion. And after lust, it goes down to anger, mode of ignorance. The fall is very steep. So it's very dangerous. So we have to be able to check ourselves at any given time of to what the mind is doing. Take inventory. If we observe the thoughts that run into our mind for even 1 hour, we will be amazed. We will be amazed at the amount of junk that goes through our mind, even for 1 hour. What to say of a greater period of time? So we have to constantly be able to take inventory. We don't want to take inventory where it becomes a distraction, but we have to be able to do that at any given time. Right? So let's go to verse 63. Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramsat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. See how the drop starts. The drop starts with contemplation. Contemplation means Krishna is not in the center. Something which I am seeing could be a source of pleasure for my senses. That starts the downfall. So how dangerous it is. Padam padam yat vipadam. This is the nature of material world. Every step is fraught with danger. Even a single contemplation can lead one back into rebirth. What to say of, complete indulgence. So let's look at the steps. From anger, initially there is contemplation, attachment. From attachment, lust. Lust is not fulfilled. Anger. From anger results complete delusion. What is delusion? Inability to think. Just as we judge an animal, saying an animal should not be blamed, someone who is in anger basically is completely controlled by the mode of ignorance. Completely controlled by the mode of ignorance. So that person turns into an animal. Delusion. No connection whatsoever to intelligence. Delusion. Almost delusion. Delusion is almost madness. Complete delusion. Sammohat. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. Can we even think? There is absolutely no question of being able to contemplate, think, and go deeper in the mode of ignorance. It is only in the mode of goodness that we can even reflect on our decisions. Should I take this decision? Should I take that decision? Mode of goodness. In mode of ignorance and passion, no question of such decision making, no question of free will. You will act according to your nature, like an animal. So, when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. Memory serves us because it reminds us of Shastra. It tells us, do not skate on thin ice. Skating on thin ice is exciting. The last time you skated on thin ice, the ice broke, you fell into very cold water, you almost drowned. This is intelligence. Right? When there's deep anger, there is no question of going back and then picking up a memory and saying, oh, I went through this experience, I have to alter it. I shouldn't be going in the same route again. No question. Forget about remembering Bhagavad Gita. Forget about remembering the class. This was discussed. Finished. Memory is lost. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, the charioteer basically is lost. One falls down again into the material pool. So, such a simple step. And where did it start? Contemplation on the objects of the senses. Every sense is attracted to specific objects. And when we contemplate on the objects of the senses, finished. So you've got to be very, very careful. Right? It's almost frightening to think as to what the possibilities are. It is almost frightening to think how dangerous it is. What's the time, Suhas? Yeah. Yeah. Well, any event in our life where we have acted selfishly is putting a certain impression on the samskara in the chitta. It's like taking, I've spoken about this, it's like taking a white board and then you have a paintbrush, a black paint. Every time we act selfishly, we take that paintbrush and we're putting a stroke of black paint on the whiteboard. The more and more and more we put, the color of that whiteboard turns black, as a result of which the process of decision making is completely thwarted because we have taken on a lower nature. So the more and more and more we start thinking and keeping Krishna in the center, it becomes easier. That, in fact, is the purpose of even fasting. When we fast, we are denying the body, we are denying the mind, and it gives us and creates a certain impression. It is again like taking a white paint and then putting it on the black which is already there. Because now we have created an impression. I have achieved it. Today I have fasted. My senses could not dominate me. So the next morning, when you have to wake up for sadhana and the body is telling you, I want to sleep for 1 more hour, you have the ability to say, yesterday when I fasted, you wanted to eat and I refused you a meal, you agreed. Now please wake up. This is my decision. It allows you to take control when you move away from the body. So, to that extent, what I would say is that satisfying the senses is not a way of understanding how the senses themselves can be tamed. It's like putting, the Shastras say, it's like putting ghee into the fire. By putting ghee into the fire, one cannot really say, or fuel into the fire, one cannot make a claim that the fire can be extinguished. It will only burn higher because you're facilitating it, you're creating certain consciousness, it will burn higher. That's the whole purpose of regulative principles. We have regulative principles to remind us that we can be regulated. And by creating such samskaras, it allows us to move away and take on decisions that are beyond the body. That's the whole purpose of regulative principles, to turn us back into what we were. I'm going to stop here today because it's 9:35, and then next week we can continue again in the next two verses. Let's see if there are any questions. Not contemplating on the senses, it's a matter of training. This is sadhana. Sadhana means being forced. What other steps can you take? I think you are well situated. Tell her that she can get more association from the local devotees. Spend time. She is well situated. See, we are not so much about denying the senses. You got to remember that. Krishna consciousness is not about denial. Krishna consciousness understands very clearly that we are not inert people. We are conscious beings. We are conscious, we are alive. This is about developing a higher taste. I have a lower taste of constantly watching nonsense on TV. And imagine this, TV is so powerful, it puts you in an alpha state. When you watch TV, it puts you in an alpha state. It hypnotizes you. Have you remember people sitting with a bag of popcorn? It's almost like they don't even know where the popcorn is going. It's falling on the floor. It's all over the place. They are in a hypnotic state. They're just watching something. And someone has programmed them so well that they're teaching them nonsense. What is programming these days? I mean, whatever channels we have, it's a whole bunch of nonsense which increases anxiety even more. They're showing possibilities of, serial killers. They're showing possibilities of murders. They're showing possibilities of this, possibilities of that. And then people start thinking that they are not affected. They are. You keep watching it, you're not getting entertained. You're getting affected because it goes into your heart and it forms a certain impression and it stays there and you have to deal with it. It's like that. It's like, for example, if you go into WebMD and you read WebMD and you start thinking that every disease in WebMD, you have it. Because you can spot this symptom is there. I have this symptom. I have that symptom. I have this symptom. I have all the symptoms of every disease. I feel diseased. I'm a hypochondriac. You need psychiatric help. So it's like that. So you start watching and then you develop this. And then now people are so bored that how many channels you have? I don't know. 130, 150 channels? I don't know. And they keep flipping channels because even that has become so boring. Now you have reality TV. I don't know what reality TV is all about. I don't know what is reality. People are not interested in entertainment. They want reality. And reality is they don't mind seeing horrific stuff. It's reality. They don't mind seeing people making fools of themselves. So all kinds of entertainment are coming in, and these are leaving impressions, and these are creating certain impressions in our heart. And these impressions make you act in certain ways. They act in certain ways, right? So moving away from TV is wonderful, and it can be done by replacing it with other wonderful, higher nature entertainment. Nothing wrong in watching TV, but watch something that is connected to transcendence. It does not disturb us if you see killing, for example, in Mahabharata. But you see a murder occurring on TV, in a movie, it disturbs us. You should ask yourself why. Why does it disturb us? Because there's Krishna associated and there's no Krishna associated here. So it starts disturbing you. Murder disturbs you because there's no Krishna associated. It disturbs you. And how can this be entertainment? How can this be entertainment? Right? So it's wonderful that we keep away, but there's something called param drishtva nivartate. You take steps, and it's a gradual process. It's very organic. You go on a step-by-step basis. Right? You step by step, you just wean yourself away. So to her point, she is well situated. We will talk about regulative principles in the coming week session. So she's doing fine. Because the pure devotee values time. What is purity? Purity essentially understands that Krishna is in the center. Every minute, every second belongs to Krishna. So how can I use Krishna's time most fruitfully? I don't want to be engaging in sense gratification. And they have no pleasure in these because they are already obtaining the highest pleasure in coming in touch with Krishna. That's what the beauty of devotional service is. Devotional service is not about denial. It is not about living a life which is inert. Devotional service is about becoming happy, more happy than we can ever imagine. And that requires some abstinence. It does require some abstinence. Why not? Well, yeah, you can gradually reduce it because you can reduce it. Madhvi is 10. Madhvi is 10. You can gradually reduce it. And, I see my daughter too. Initially, she used to watch TV. And we used to find it difficult because her span of attention had shortened down so much that she couldn't really concentrate because of the constant focus on entertainment and on the internet. Span of attention was very short, right? But then slowly, steadily, she stopped watching and now she's not interested, period. She's simply not interested in watching. She's interested in watching different types of Ramayan, but she's not interested in that. So it's a matter of us developing a higher taste. It's a matter of developing a higher taste. That's all. What else do we have? Well, we're not against planning. So always, until we become pure, the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness will be mixed in us. So it is not that we are going to be 100%. But then when one is very pure, then such a person's plan will be dictated by Krishna. So there will be no question of them going wrong. But planning is required. Planning is required. Such planning is done best in the mode of goodness because it allows you to stay in the present, allows you to connect to Shastra, allows you to understand very clearly what is the direction of Shastra for my future. By keeping Krishna in the center, what am I supposed to achieve? Real planning is about becoming happy. This child, how old is Rachit? A year. He is a year old. Now, this year-old child, if you train him to become happy by keeping Krishna in the center, all he has to do is to grow up, study, find a mate, and he will be focused in just maintaining the happiness that you have given him. We did otherwise. We were not happy or we were not trained to be happy. So, what we did was we pursued so many things in our life thinking that those things are going to be happiness and it is going to result in happiness. But for his case, if you make him happy right now, all he has to do is to figure out some planning, some strategy of how to maintain that happiness. This is an advice which I give to many, many students who are even, in the 10th grade and 11th grade or whatever the case may be. All they have to do is they have become happy by keeping Krishna in the center. How can I maintain it? How can I find a career path that will allow me to maintain that? How can I find a husband or wife who would allow me to maintain that? That's intelligence. That's focus. That's planning. If a devotee can plan on keeping Krishna in the center for the next 30 or 40 years of life and can plan the secondary aspect of existence, which is we want to make money. We are all interested in making money. We should not be in denial. We should not be impractical. We are interested in making money so that we don't have to worry about it. That's how practical thinking has to be. So we are interested in making money because we don't want to worry about it. Money cannot be the center. Krishna is in the center. But then I need to have